Welcome back, everybody. Today, most IT environments are composed of various different data centers and often utilize cloud platforms in addition to those data centers. This requires us to have a single security solution in order to protect all types of technology across all deployed locations. In this presentation, Yuval Goldberg, if I pronounce that correctly, Director of Product Management at Guardicore, will explain how security can efficiently be applied to heterogeneous environments using specifically Guardicore solutions. With that, Yuval, the floor is yours, if you can hear me.
Thank you very much. So welcome everybody. My name is Yuval Goldberg. I'm a director of product management in Guardicore, and as Tim mentioned, I'm going to talk about infrastructure agnostic security. Now, what does it mean? It means that we should be able to supply security capabilities across different infrastructure types and locations. Now, okay, so when we talk about data center infrastructure, we are talking about rapid technological evolution. It means that the technology is evolving very quickly, and we sometimes can't cope with the rate, and sometimes we have a mixed type of technologies in our data center. And another thing is that we have multi-site deployments, meaning our data center is deployed in different sites, not in a single site, and we need to also be able to manage that. So when we talk about data center evolution, technology evolution, we started with the traditional deployment, which was hardware boxes. Each hardware box hosted one server and one application. Of course, this cost a lot of money and a lot of maintenance, and we needed a lot of real estate for that. So in 2012, we moved to virtualized machines. Virtualized machines means that we have one hardware box that can host multiple virtual machines. Each virtual machine is a server, and each server hosts a single application. And this allowed us to reduce the cost and to reduce the need for real estate. But it wasn't enough, so in 2017, we moved to container deployment. Now, container deployments meant that we had one hardware box that hosted multiple servers, virtual machines, and each virtual machine hosted multiple applications. Now, it was so good that we started deploying thousands of containers, and then we had another problem. How do we manage these containers? How do we orchestrate these containers? How do we automate everything? So in 2020, we got Kubernetes. Now, these dates and years are not set in stone. It's not the first time we saw this technology. It's about the time that these technologies deployments had a significant portion in the industry. But we can see that every few years we have new technologies, and we as IT and DevOps need to support new technologies, but it's not black and white. It's not in 2012 we had virtualized machines, and then in 2017 everything went to containers, and then in 2020 everything went to Kubernetes. It's not. Usually we have mixed technologies. Today we have data centers in some cases that has traditional deployments, virtual machines, containers, and Kubernetes. So we need to support everything in our data center, and of course provide the security across the board to all types of technologies. Now, when we talk about deployment trends, we can see that we have multi-sites. In 2017, we can see that 58% of the enterprises had hybrid cloud deployments, meaning they had an on-prem portion of their data center, sometimes even that in multi-sites on their enterprise, and public cloud portion, which means they have hybrid, it's multi-sites, and even sometimes there's multiple public clouds and sometimes multiple on-prem sites. So we need to be able to support multi-sites. In 2021, we can see it's already 82% of the enterprises have hybrid cloud. So it's a trend and it's not going anywhere. We need to support multi-site deployments. So the challenges in the security perspective were we have now mixed environments of different technologies, and these technologies need to have security. So we need to support both our new technologies and our legacy technologies. And as we saw, it's multi-site deployment. So we need to be able to manage all the sites on a single pane of glass. As Forrester said, it's no longer a nice to have capability to be able to manage different networks and disjointed infrastructure. It's a must. You must be able to control everyone, everywhere on a single pane of glass. So how do we do it? So the first phase is to discover your environment and understand it. As we saw, we have cloud deployments. It could be on AWS, Azure, Oracle. We have user managements like Citrix, Microsoft. We have bare metal servers. We have containers that can be either Docker or Kubernetes. We can have virtual machines with hypervisors like VMware, KVM. And this is where Guardicore shines, because Guardicore is built for all types of environments. It can be on-prem, it can be cloud, it can be hybrid. In all cases, we provide a single pane of glass for managing and creating a single policy across the board. With Guardicore, you don't have a vendor lock. We support almost every vendor in the world. We have the broadest coverage, including legacy and user space. And what we provide is just a screenshot. You can see here, it's a mixed environment, and it's very easy to understand it because you have the bare metal, you have the AWS deployment, you have the VMware deployment, and you have an OpenShift deployment. And you can see not only the options, but also the connections between them and between the internet and other sources. So now that we discovered it, we need to understand, but because discovering is not enough. You can see in this case, we discovered everything on the environment, but we don't understand anything. It's unreadable. So what Guardicore provides is a really advanced auto-discovery AI labeling system, which identifies the environments and labels them, as we saw in the previous slide. So you can see here we have a bare metal deployment, AWS deployment, VMware deployment, and OpenShift and the connections between them. Now, it's not enough because we want to see what's going on in each environment. So you can drill down and see the applications running on each environment. And not only the application, the connections between them. And then it's not enough. I want to see each application, what's going on inside it. So I can also drill down and see the assets that compose this application. And not only the assets, I can see which process in each asset initiate the connection. So once I have that, I have the visibility, the discovery, and then I can also understand which applications on which environments are running inside my environment and what are the connections and what are the relations between each application and inside the application. So this provides me the capability to do the following phase, the segmentation. So why do we need segmentation? We'll go through a typical attack flow, in this case ransomware, but it can be any other attack like data leak, data theft, or anything else. So the first step is breach the perimeter. Now, a lot of customers say, I have the best vendor, I have excellent perimeter defense, and they are right. There are great vendors in the industry today. They provide excellent solutions, but no solution has a 100% protection. It all depends on the capability of the hacker and the amount of effort he is willing to invest. But if he really wants to, he can breach the perimeter. So the next step will be to have privilege escalation. This provides him the capability to do whatever he wants inside the environment once he breaches the perimeter. Then he will start scanning and infecting all servers. And it's really easy to spread the cloud across multiple deployments if you find some connectivity between them. Once he infected everything, he will encrypt all infected servers and then connect to an external command and control server. And let's just see a short example. So in this case, we have a hybrid deployment. We have an AKS cluster, which includes two namespaces, namespace A and namespace B. And we have an on-prem deployment, which includes virtual machines and bare metals. And now the first infection happened in namespace B, in one of the pods. So the first thing he will do, and that's the easy one, just infect as much as he can inside the namespace. But then he will start looking out and do lateral movement inside our deployments. He will find one pod in namespace A and one pod and one VM, sorry, on the on-prem, and the pod in namespace A will start infecting pods in namespace A, and the VM on the on-prem will infect everyone on the on-prem data center. And the next step is to connect to the command and control server. Once the manager received a notification that everything is set and everything is encrypted, the organization will get a call or a mail for a ransom demand. Now, this is without segmentation. When you don't have segmentation, this will happen once an attack will occur. But what will happen with segmentation? So the first thing you do is provide segmentation. In this case, I segmented all my applications, just a very simple and basic segmentation. Of course, I can do more granular segmentation inside each namespace if needed. And then we will have a breach. Once it's breached, all available pods in namespace B will be infected because they are not segmented. But once me as a hacker will try to move on and create more lateral movement, I will be blocked because these are segmented areas. And if I will try also to connect to my external command control server, I will also be blocked. So my handler will not be even aware that this attack was a success. And not only that, I really reduced and controlled and containerized the blast radius of the attack, meaning only one namespace or one application was affected. The other namespace and data centers were untouched. So I can keep running and everything is manageable. So I really controlled what can be affected by an attack. Now, when we talk about segmentation use cases and what we do, what we want to segment, usually, of course, there are more use cases, but these are the main ones. I would like to segment my environment, just like we saw in my example. I would like to segment my critical application. For example, any finance-related application. So I will be able to protect against data leak or something like that. I would like to have access control to third-party vendors that I'm using, or that they have access to my environment for some reason. And also, I would like to create an identity-based access control to manage who can access my environment. So if you look at Gartner recommendation also, you can see that Gartner also says organizations are required to protect physical machines, virtual machines, containers, and serverless workloads, all for a single pane of glass, regardless of the location. And this is exactly what Guardicore provides. You can manage everything from one pane of glass, from a single pane of glass. Just deploy our agents in all your environments, from bare metal to VMs to containers to Kubernetes, and you will see everything. Everything will be labeled automatically, and you can just discover and understand what is going on in your environment. And we are talking about fast scale deployments. You don't need to reach out to each department and ask, you just see it in your own eyes. And the next stage is easily create policy rules that segment whatever you need, wherever you need. You can even, of course, fix and adopt and enhance along the way the segmentation rules. And that's it. You have a quite simple segmentation project. So for conclusion, we must secure our network regardless of our infrastructure technology or location. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Yuval, thank you for showing us that there is indeed a single security solution that we can utilize across a heterogeneous environment and provide adequate security. Next on the list is a demo where we'll see how both the sessions that we had previously are combined in real life, sort of more or less. So we'll get back to you momentarily.